There are no simple answers. Once we thought solving the problem of homelessness was about finding homes for those who had none, just like we assumed that if we could get addicts off drugs, the rest of their lives would all fall into place, or that the answer to mental health was simply providing enough therapeutic services. Now we have come to understand that the most difficult social problems are really a complex matrix of issues that require a holistic approach. But here's the good news. It turns out that when social service agencies work together, not only can permanent solutions be found, these solutions can actually cost taxpayers less. Nowhere is that more evident than in Connecticut, where a group of state agencies and nonprofit organizations joined together to create a program that permanently ends homelessness while addressing the myriad other issues. In doing so, they have created a model for the rest of the nation.
So here I am, I'm recovering, I'm pregnant, and I'm homeless.
I was homeless. I was a drug addict and alcoholic.
I had a drug addiction, and I was also experiencing mental health problems.
I knew I was pregnant and I needed to do something because I was keeping my child.
Instead of being a mother to my children, I chose the drugs over them.
I had my 2 plastic hefty bags full of clothes, dirty, tired. I was through with the streets, and I was pleading with the woman at the front desk to please let me in.
I needed to find me. I needed to find peace with myself.
We're here at Soramundi Commons in Hartford, Connecticut. This is the largest supportive housing project in the state with 48 units. And what supportive housing is permanent, affordable housing matched with support services designed to break the cycle of homelessness. So let's go inside.
We don't believe that giving someone a key and saying, you know, you've got your home, goodbye, you should be all set, is the answer.
What we found in Connecticut was that a lot of the homeless folks had problems other than just low income. So we needed to think about a way to address those problems like addiction and mental illness that were preventing them from maintaining themselves in stable housing. So we've come up with this project and others like it around the state.
Soramundi Commons, the residents live in the building and their case managers are downstairs. Whereas Project Heart, the residents live in the community and their case managers are in the community as well.
What supportive housing does is it assures someone has a place to live and has the kind of support services that allow them to maintain independence and regain a healthy life.
But the challenge around doing that is that it means merging the worlds of housing and human services.
This program works because 5 agencies came together to provide the necessary funding and services.
What the state of Connecticut has done is they brought together the housing departments and their human service departments and their budget departments, and they've said, we can solve this.
We are a government bureaucracy. So it's not something that our individual departments do naturally. I mean, I think this is something very special that we've been able to do.
We do see this program as something that will address the issue of chronic homelessness.
What we found back in the 1990s when we started this project was that people were cycling in and out of expensive placements, such as inpatient psychiatric placements. They were in shelters where they were not getting the services they needed, and the system was not working. So we knew we had to do something differently, and that's when we started the supportive housing project.
What supportive housing offers is a way out of that and saying there is something that we can do. We actually can provide homes and appropriate supports for people, and it breaks their cycle so that they aren't back on the streets after entering supportive housing.
I think the reason the supportive services and the housing together are so critical is that without the housing affordability component, you're not going to address the fact that people are low income and need housing. And without the services component, you're not going to be able to address the kind of chronic health conditions that people may have that also contribute to the long-term nature of their homelessness. So I think the work that's been done here in Connecticut to marry the service side with the housing side is vital to the success of this model.
It's not a temporary thing, it's really a permanent solution.
We were able to identify within the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services that we had a large number of folks who needed permanent housing and did not have it and did not have the money to get it. This was a unique collaboration in that everybody came with their piece, and we wound up working in a way that served the clients best.
And we provided the overall coordination of the housing development process and a good chunk of the housing development dollars as well.
We coordinated the state agencies and made sure that the funding necessary was in each state agency's budget.
And we provided the Section 8 housing choice vouchers and the state rental assistance subsidies, as well as the service funding for the families.
We provide financing for housing development projects.
We provide case management services for individuals in the community who have disabilities.
What's extraordinary about supportive housing is that we tie it with the health care, the employment, and case management services. So the model is one which, for every unit, we wrap around $9,000 worth of supportive services.
I have all the support that I need. If I need a 12-step meeting, it's here. You know, if I need to talk to someone, a therapist, she's here. If whatever I need to help me with my recovery and to maintain my recovery is here.
They'll help you with your resume, they'll help you find a job, they'll help you with college.
Anything I need, if I can't get it on my own, I would ask for help, and they're right there to help me.
It is less expensive, significantly less expensive, than treating a person in a residential treatment facility, significantly less expensive than somebody being restricted in a mental health hospital or a halfway house or a prison.
It's a difference between spending $1,000 a night for someone to be able to spend a night in a hospital, or $36 to be able to have spend a day in supportive housing.
Before I came here to Hartford, Connecticut, I was arrested due to drug charges, and I was looking at a lot of time in prison. But I gotten a chance to straighten out my life.
A lot of the ladies, and as well as men that we work with, would have either been incarcerated, which is $30,000 a year, or in a mental health institution, which is probably more than that.
A lot of the folks that we work with have criminal histories because of their addiction. So really, they're not out on the streets anymore and getting into that kind of trouble anymore.
And I think another unique thing about Storm-ID Commons is the whole building kind of has the same goal. They're around a lot of people that want the same thing, who want to become successful members of society and be clean and be sober and utilize the resources.
What we were able to find, well, we looked at about 125 people, I think it was, who moved into supportive housing. Looked at their use of Medicaid services, inpatient services. We looked at them 2 years before and then 3 years after. The decrease in use of inpatient psychiatric medical services was like 72%. We pay somewhere in the range of $1,000 a day for an inpatient bed. With that kind of decrease, what happens? Then we can reinvest those dollars in the services that will keep them into the community.
This, in the long run, we believe saves the taxpayers money, but even more importantly than saving the taxpayers money, ensures that the taxpayers' dollars are being used effectively and the taxpayer gets a return on their investment.
And what they found is that it costs essentially the same to have someone living with dignity in supportive housing as it does to leave them homeless.
Lives are changed. Lives are improved. People's lives are recovered.
I've had the opportunity to visit some of our citizens who have received supportive housing services in their homes. It is a wonderful thing to see a single mother with a young family. The mother may previously have had substance abuse problems, now clean, now continuing to receive supportive housing, substance abuse services, and becoming a strong mother, guiding her children and fighting for her children to see that they have a better life. It's a wonderful thing. It's an effective use of taxpayer dollars.
My future I see myself giving up my housing certificate for someone who really needs it.
I remember 6 years ago when I had my 2 plastic hefty bags full of clothes, dirty, tired. I was through with the streets, and I was pleading with the woman at the front desk to please let me in. Now I'm the woman at the front desk. Isn't life great? Life is great.
My biggest thing is I want a career my child's going to be proud of. I want my child to grow up and be proud of his mom. By the time he knows what's going on, I want to be in somewhere, have a great job and a career that, you know, he can say, oh, my mom does this. You know, that matters a lot to me.
Actually, that's it, just helping people like I was helped. That's how I see my future.